Back in the 90s, it was every Indian middle class family's dream. Our child becomes an engineer. Then he gets a campus job. Then he gets selected at a US university for his MS. And we poor parents can finally stop spending for his coaching. You guys can laugh whenever you want. I'll give you pauses. Of course, things are different today. Today's worries are more on the lines of, what if I update my Facebook profile picture and nobody likes it? What if I get less than 50 birthday wishes on my birthday, on my happy day? And horror of horrors, what if my parents add me on Facebook? People these days are a different breed. Jokes aside, going to America this is the reason why my wife misses everything, because she has to go out. Jokes aside, going to America is a perennial business. Much like petrol pumps and chai stalls, the demand just never goes down. The interesting thing is the perceptions of America we have in our mind. There are some who think that America is the epitome of human civilization, the best that there can ever be. These are the people who think that American girls spend their days lined up at airports waiting for a handsome Indian boy with well-oiled hair and a funny accent to stop by so that they can do some hanky-panky with them. For such people, the ABCD of America would be something like A for alcohol, B for blonde, C for cars, D for discotheque. Jaspreet Singh, also known as Jassi, is one such guy. In his town in Punjab, he's busy dreaming up visions of a life straight out of the American Pie movies, where the parties are wild and girls desperate, especially for a stud like him. He's no stud, by the way. He's fat, he's short, he's bad at studies, he's far from being a stud. For him, America is all about coke, pretty girls, and Pamela Anderson, whom he lovingly calls Pamela G. In preparation, actually, I need to get in the Jesse character. Oh, I can't see this. Damn it. Go straight. In preparation, he changes his name to Jazz. Perfect for America. Short, sweet, hides his Indian identity. He tries to perfect the American accent by calling up random numbers like the telephone complaint office, just to practice. He even starts using toilet paper in preparation and starts calling all of his friends dude. Then there's the other extreme, Akhil Arora. Overprotective parents. Lived at home in Delhi all his life. Wanted to get into IIT but didn't quite. Everybody still thinks of him as a little boy who won't be able to survive without his mom to wash his underwear or dad to fight people on his behalf. Akhil wants to prove them all wrong and go forth in search of his American dream. If Akhil's life wasn't bad enough, there's his obnoxious neighbor Goyalji. Obnoxious neighbor. It's almost an oxymoron in most middle-class Punjabi neighborhoods. I remember this auntie ji whose son studied with me in school. Every year during result season, they would go to my classroom first to check my result. It was more important for them to know if I had scored more than their child or not. His scores didn't mean anything in absolute terms. The rat race starts early in modern India. The day isn't far when Fitchi will start pre-nursery ITJ coaching packages. And I'll put my son in them. Anyway, Goyalji is a wonderful gorilla of a man who spends his days eating free samosas, singing praises of his son who lives in America, and telling Akhil's parents that their boy is making a huge mistake by going to a university that is not ranked in the top 100. Arora ji, your son is going out of control. Don't say later that I did not warn you. Tendulkar had Achrekar, Saina Nehwal had Gopichand, Srishant had Bhaji. Akhil's inspiration to do well in life is Goyalji. He is sick of those constant comparisons with Goyalji's son. His evil smirk gives him nightmares. Akhil's American dream is all about making a man out of himself. He's had enough of being a shy, bumbling boy, afraid of asserting himself. So these are our two main characters in the book. I need some water. So these are our two main characters in the book. The two boys are poles apart in their perspectives and expectations from America. Akhil hopes to come back to India in a few years. Jassi looks forward to finding an American girl with whom he can live happily ever after. Akhil is fiercely patriotic. Jassi finds his Indian identity an uncomfortable burden. As luck would have it, their paths cross and they end up being roommates at Tallahassee, Florida, where they're going to do their Masters of Science. Now, when people land in America, the changes they go through is a fascinating study in itself. It's almost like Michael Jackson before and after his surgery. Jassi becomes American the moment he lands from his flight in Tallahassee. He almost goes in a trance when he feels the first blast of American air on his face. That moment was what he had been dreaming on for years. Young people of today, Akriti, could relate it to the feeling of winning. No, not even that. Even just making it to a roadies audition interview. Akriti is a big roadies fan. Just getting to talk to Raghu sir and Ranvijay sir makes most people wet their pants in nervous giddiness these days. FOB, fresh off the boat. This is the term used to refer to these guys new to America. Even though Gandhiji was probably the last person who went overseas on a boat, the term has stuck. I guess now would be a good time to re-christen FOB to mean fresh off the Boeing. Makes far much more sense. FOBs, they're such an amazing species. You can smell one from far away, or at least hear them. They'll either be talking loudly in Hindi, Tamil or Marathi, or any other language, or eating dal roti. Often both together. Because we Indian people will forget how to write Java code if we go a day without eating desi food. They'll go to Walmart and go crazy admiring the size and variety of the store. They'll get their furniture from trash bins. Stuff discarded by Americans due to a small tear here or a little cash there. Money saved is money earned. And the price conversions. Oh my god. If you could line up all the desi people who went to Starbucks and came out empty-handed because one cappuccino cost $4 and hence 213 rupees, you could probably reach all the way to the moon. They say Indians are good at math. This constant conversion of dollar prices into rupees is the reason. FOBs are an excellent experiment in human psychology. This is heavy. They'll ogle at girls like they've never seen one before. They'll go to restaurants and never leave tips. They'll be the only ones on beaches wearing full clothes, while all around them people are in swimsuits. They'll be taking pictures. Then there are cultural differences. In India, nobody smiles to, speaks to, or smiles at random people on the road, unless they want to sell something, like a Club Mahindra membership. In small American towns, people still smile at people when they see them on the road, wishing them good morning, good afternoon, etc. Indians find that peculiar. The first time this happens to Akhil and Jassi, they get totally stumped, as it is such a new thing to them. This smiling stuff never works with Indians. In fact, people have done PhDs on why Indians try extra hard to ignore other Indians when they see them on an American road. My theory, the first time I'm introducing this, is that Desis remind other Desis of India. And they are worried that any eye contact will remind them of their country and they'll cry. There's no other reason. Now, we can't talk of Indian culture and not mention bargaining. Yes, we do that even in America. You stand the risk of your passport being taken away if you go to a store and don't try to bargain the price of aloo gobi or milk or Levi's jeans. or frozen paranthas. When I first went to the US, the guys I stayed with there served me paranthas and palak paneer, my first night in the US. I was amazed. It was delicious and I was so impressed that you guys cook such good food. They then told me that it's all frozen food, that they just had to heat and it was ready to go. I swear, half my homesickness went away in that instant. As Gandhiji once said, give a man a parantha every day and he'll live happily ever after. I made this up. Indian stores are temples for desis living abroad. If the paranoid people in the US Senate ever decide to cut down on immigration, all they need to do is shut down Indian stores. Without the frozen paranthas, most of our people in the US will come back to India. Anyway, back to Jassi. Jassi is the FOB who doesn't want to be an FOB. He tries to shut out his Indian identity. But he has that thing in him where if a pretty American girl even looks at him, he's convinced that she wants to marry him. Obviously, it is never the case. And he just goes from one heartbreak to another. Akhil, on the other hand, is another extreme. He's the good boy who sticks to his values and morals. His only goal in life is to wipe that smirk off Goelji's face. He even plans to return to India eventually. He just needs those damn grades. He wants to graduate with straight A's and 4 GPA. He thinks of himself as an ambassador of India. Jassi doesn't have a single good thing to say about the country. Now, this book really tries to bring out the realities of life abroad as newly settled immigrants. It is all a perception thing. This isn't testing. Now, parents think that their child is hard at work, slogging away on assignments while trying to ward out the various distractions, which is really girls who are trying to snare their boys or girls. Friends are jealous because they think that they're just going to spend their time partying and having fun in wonderful America. The reality for most of them is that they spend their time working on assignments or in some cases chasing girls unsuccessfully, often on chat rooms, where there's always a strong possibility that the Melanie that they're talking to is actually Manpreet from Saharanpur. Anyway, so overall this book is the story of the journey of these two boys searching for their American dreams. Through the contrasting personalities of the lead characters, this book talks about how different people behave when they cross Indian shores to travel to foreign lands. Of how Indian people complain of racism abroad when a Punjabi and a Bengali cannot tolerate each other in the country. Or the lives of Indian Americans and how Indian parents the world over have the same concerns and insecurities for their children. Of young Indians who travel all the way to the US and try to adapt to the changed environment, where people suddenly have different priorities. The girls are pretty and temptations are aplenty. Will Akhil and Jassi achieve their American dream? Will they complete their Masters of America? Read the book to find out. Thank you.